how did it start, this collaboration with London Art?
Well, originally I received an email from Nicola saying that he'd seen my work on Instagram and social media through the internet and that he loved it, and that London Art were focusing on, or part of what they were focusing on was the facades of buildings, which is exactly the kind of designs that I was producing, and would I like to collaborate with them on a small collection. And I was really excited because I haven't really worked with anyone in Europe before, outside of the UK. So yeah, I jumped at the chance. I thought it was really good, really nice idea to work with them.
Where did you get your inspiration for the 2016 collection?
The collection for London Art is a mixture of different examples of modernist housing between New York and London. The example you can see behind me is actually an example of modernist apartment building in downtown Manhattan that was actually built in the 60s. And the other buildings are from a similar era. The Span House, which is a very like a 1960s modernist housing type, which you see in South London a lot, in Blackheath and around those areas. And there's also another couple of examples of modernist architecture, which is I think Basterfield House is another one of them, which is my favourite because it's actually a very bold, striking red colour. It has these popping balconies. It's very articulated, lots of shadows, and the inspiration is really modernist housing. For me, I find it incredibly interesting as an architect. It's one of my favourite periods. It's one of my favourite styles, and I think I've been endlessly pursuing examples on different types of housing because I think that people don't focus on housing and background architecture, pattern architecture so much. They focus on the iconic buildings and galleries and Big Ben and these kind of buildings that people visit a lot. But what makes up our cities is this urban grain, these typologies, this housing. And so I quite like to take examples that interest me and ask people to look at them again, and create repeat patterns from them and try and make them more interesting, I think.
Wallpaper in these last years just changed his role inside the house. So I wanted to ask, what do you think about this change?
I think wallpaper has become a lot more exciting. People use it in a very different way. Traditionally, it would have been used on all four walls of a room, and it would have been a very, very simple repeat pattern of maybe flowers or leaves or something like that. Something that maybe your grandmother would have used. Whereas now we like to use wallpaper very much like art. It's a statement about you. It's used on one wall as a feature. And actually, what that means by using it in that way is you can change it a lot more often, and you can change your space a lot more often. So people are braver as they would be with a piece of art. They're much more brave with wallpaper and their choice of wallpaper because it's just on one wall and they can change it. And you see this a lot now in interior magazines, interior architecture, people using wallpaper as a big statement piece rather than just a background decoration to make the room the way they want it to be. So I think it's changed, it's edgier, it's more modern, it's bolder, and I think it's a really good thing because it's art now. It's much more interesting. So that's how it's going anyway.
How it is to work with such a brand new company from Italy?
It's really exciting. I don't think there are any I don't know of any UK companies that would have been brave enough to pick up my designs and put them on wallpaper. When I saw the montages that London Art had put together, I was really excited. And I really felt like maybe the sort of bravado and Italian culture, really suited the bold graphic style, and they didn't want to mess with it. They didn't want to change it particularly. They just wanted to use it as it was. And I haven't really spoken to any textile or wallpaper companies in the UK that have wanted to use the really bold designs, because these are some of the boldest designs that I've produced, and they haven't drawn as much attention in the UK. So I was really excited that an Italian company wanted to use them, and I felt like it was actually quite a good fit.